Hey besties, and welcome back to K-pop Besties, episode 2. I am one of your hosts, Wendy Zaney, and joining me as always is my bestie Warren.
Hello. We have a lot to talk about today. I'm really excited.
We have
One,
so much to talk about. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say you finally watched my ID Is Gangnam Beauty, and I want to know about it, what you think. But we have a lot to talk about. Blackpink's making a comeback. Nayeon came out with her mini album. Boom, right there. So yeah,
Right there.
great,
Yeah.
exciting episode today.
Really fun episode, and thank you for everybody who tuned in to listen for the first episode or watch it on YouTube. And please continue doing so. And if you're enjoying this conversation and our topics, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Costs
Do it.
you nothing, and
Zero
it
dollars.
yeah, and it makes us feel really, really bubbly inside. So with that, I think we should go ahead and jump into. We've been very excited for Twice's Nayeon to have her solo debut, I guess you can call it.
Yep.
Which is weird because how many years has she been a part of Twice?
I mean, since the very beginning.
6? No, it's too long.
2019, or
So
am I thinking
4?
Blackpink? No. It's more. It's definitely more than that. It's definitely more than that.
Well, Blackpink, if they were, I think they're technically seniors to Blackpink in a way because I believe they
No, they
debuted
definitely
before.
are. They definitely
Yeah.
debuted before. It was 2015.
Whoa.
It was 2015. I'm gonna double check.
Whoa. So these girls have been around for, which I'm kind of surprised that none of them have had a solo debut until now. But what better
Yeah.
time than now? They've just finished their third world tour.
Yep.
It's amazing, and I want nothing but the best for all of the members of Twice. So, and I think it's perfect for Nayeon to be kind of one of the first ones.
Yeah.
To
Well,
have her
actually,
solo.
what's really interesting is I just looked it up. It is 2015 that they debuted, but it says Blackpink debuted in 2016. So it only
They
happened
did.
by 1 year.
Yeah,
I thought they had them
they
by a
did.
lot more.
Well, YG sometimes is
Yeah.
slower at pulling the trigger on certain things.
Certain
We'll
things,
get
yeah.
into that.
Well, it's
when
interesting
Blackpink comes up.
because everyone, with the exception of Jisoo, because she was filming Snowdrop, everyone from Blackpink has had their solo stuff already.
I'm waiting for
But
it.
there's only 4 members, so
Yeah, with Twice, there are many more.
there's 9 members, so
Yes.
yeah.
And do we know, before we kind of get into her album, do we know if all of them are guaranteed a solo debut?
I don't know. What's really interesting is I thought about like why Nayeon. Like, one, she's the uni of the group, but I was watching. I don't know if I was watching like a V Live or if they were on a show or if it was timed to Twice or something like that. But they were asked to, or the Knowing Bros maybe.
Oh, maybe.
But they were asked a question and they were like, if there was, if there's any of you who is the most likely to stand up to JYP, like who basically stands up and clashes with JYP the most, and everyone looked at Nayeon, and even Nayeon was like, me.
Isn't she the leader?
No, Jiho is. Jiho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but she is the uni. She's the oldest. So there's also a role that comes with that too, right? So, I found that interesting that everyone said like she's the one that like kind of goes up against JYP, like for other members for herself. So it's like, well, if you think about that, it kind of makes sense that she would be the first one, because maybe she's the one who fought for all, like, hey, it's time for us to do solo stuff. So if she fought for that, it would make sense that she would be the first one to get a solo mini album.
And I think with K-pop too, it's not like a decision that's made overnight. Like she probably have been working on these songs.
Oh, for sure.
For years. You know how the process goes, where they're very carefully plan it out, and everything is kind of like the album cover, the jacket cover, the shoots, the concept is like planned down to every little tiny detail. And this goes across the board, I think, for all the entertainment agencies in Korea. So I think they knew, and I think it's the perfect time for them to kind of graduate into that next chapter. They just finished their world tour. They're back in Korea. Some of them can rest, but I'm sure they still have daily schedules that they go on.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Them getting their own Instagram accounts makes me feel like all of them should have some sort of a solo debut. I don't know if some of them want to branch out and do other things and show up in some of the other, artists'
videos and stuff.
Yeah, like we kind of see BTS doing the same thing. So I love it. Do you have a favorite? Well, you know what? Before we go into that, what are your thoughts on her first solo MV, Pop?
I really like it. Um, I think they did. I think they put so much into it. There's a lot of different sets.
Yes.
Um, and it doesn't seem like it's CGI. Like a lot of it seems like very, and it's not really like, with the exception of like Aspa. There's not much CGI that typically goes into like Twice, Blackpink, ITZY's. Well, I lied. ITZY does have less CGI sometimes. Um, I'm thinking of their recent one, Voltage. It's got a
Oh.
lot of CGI,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't. It all seems very real, which is really nice. Like, because it looks like JYP put like a lot into it, and I'm like, well, that's really good, because if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it, and you need the full support of the label, and the I think it came out really, really well. I think it's very colorful. I think it's very Nayeon, very
Yes.
Aego, because
Very
that's what she
puppy.
does. Yeah,
It's so cute.
it's definitely poppy. Yes.
Yeah. I really liked it. I wasn't sure because there's so many K-pop songs that has the word pop in it as the title. You know, it made me think of like pop, bubble pop from Hilna. There's been a couple other ones.
Right. Yeah.
I had a whole list in my head, and now I've forgotten it, which means I should have written it down. But I do like that it is for her like first, like for a single out of the album. This was, I think, the perfect one. It was either going to be this or maybe like Candy Floss, because it has that
Right.
upbeat, happy. It's perfect for the summer,
Exactly. It's
bright
catchy.
vibe. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's a really easy listen too for anybody who may just be like slowly tiptoeing, venturing into K-pop.
Yeah.
That they're like, ooh, this is just like a fun, even if they don't understand the lyrics for now because it's in Korean,
Right.
and they can still like, you know, bop to it, which is great. Do you have um another song on the album that is your favorite?
Yeah, because I'm a little biased, but no problem, because Felix is in
That deep
it.
voice. Yes.
Felix from Stray Kids. So yeah, I mean, like when I saw that it was announced and everything, I was like, I I like this song already, even though I haven't heard it.
Hmm.
And when it came out, I was like, yep, nope, I like this song. Yeah, yeah. What about you?
I mean, same. Felix is one of my biases in Stray Kids. So when I found out about this, I was obviously, I feel so bad. No disrespect to Nayeon at all, but when the album dropped and I clicked on the No Problem song, I fast forwarded to Felix's
Because
part.
you just wanted to hear. You're
I
like,
wanted
what
to
is
hear
this?
what it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then then I had the album on repeat for a little bit. But aside from No Problem, Candy Floss I like. It's kind of a similar poppy, fun
Yeah.
vibe. Happy Birthday to You is another really great one. And I like that her songs kind of range from super poppy, kind of what you would expect from like if you think just like I guess what people's perception of K-pop would be. But then
Sure.
she goes into more of like, you know, more of the ballad parts
Right.
and a little
Love
bit
Countdown.
deeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And her voice, we all know that the girls can sing and they have very strong vocals. But what's
Right.
great about the solos is she's not sharing it with anybody. She gets all the
Hmm.
line distributions because it's just her. And it really, I think as an artist, it shows how far they can go, you know, because
Yeah, it really puts the spotlight on it.
it
Did,
really
yeah.
does.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
see
enjoyed it.
I think it's from JYP. If you check their YouTube channel, they put it on YouTube, her singing in the booth. Did you see
Yes.
that? It's
I watched a little bit of it.
amazing.
It's
It
incredible,
Yeah,
right?
of her actually singing, like recording it, and
Raw vocals.
the recording manager is like in there. It's amazing. I was like, wow, yeah, and that's really nice, because you get to see, you just get to see that, right? You just get to see pure raw vocals like in the studio.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
my
it's on,
favorite part. No,
yeah,
it is, or it's on V Live as well. Uh,
it's maybe it's on Twice's actual
oh yeah,
page.
I think so. I think it's on. I know it because I got the
Yeah, it's
notification.
on it's on Twice's actual page, not
Yes.
JYP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so like if you guys haven't watched it, we highly encourage you to. There's a lot of like different videos out, and usually for a solo artist debut, they'll put out little, you know, promos, videos like this where it's like behind
Hmm.
the scenes shoots for the MV, for the album jacket, for the recording usually is my favorite to watch because you get to see the creative process of it, part of it. It's not the whole thing, you know, but it just never ceases to to amaze me that these artists will go into the booth and they'll sing their line, and to our untrained ears it's kind of like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then, the whoever's recording them, the producer, will make, little notes, little
Right.
redirect,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they fix it like that.
Yeah, it's
Incredible.
interesting. Yeah, it really is because I'm someone who grew up recording music. I've been in bands, and as you know, I record music now, covers, not my own. Uh, Not that I post live that or publicly, that is. But it's funny like going in and hearing like the studio manager go like, "Oh, that one was good. I'm saving that one." And like, "Oh, this," because like the way that they put it all together is like, you take lines and you do these lines like 10 times or however many times it takes, and you kind of take the best bits from each of them, and that's how you
Hmm.
make it. But like honestly, hearing Nayeon sing just raw, like from just like a camera, I was like, wow, like because we live in a day and age where you can auto tune anything, and I
Right.
especially know how to like I know how like all these effects work, so like when I hear them I can like hear the effects and stuff like that. And yeah, like sometimes like a genre uses like that, like Charlie Puth's Left and Right with JK, like
Hmm.
he's got an effect on his voice, right? Like
Mm.
it's kind of like a tiny little bit of a robotic type
Yeah.
of feel to it, right? I'm like, I know what that is, right? Because I've worked with the effects. But hearing just again raw, just her singing, it's really amazing because she's an amazing singer. I don't think I really heard her mess up, right? Like some parts are better than the others, but you never like hear her voice crack or anything. I mean, think about how like they were trainees, and like it's not like they like are trainees and then get in a group and, oh, you're done practicing, like just because you have to
No.
like go on tour and do it. Like they still practice all of this stuff, you
They
know what
have
I mean?
classes, I'm sure, that they can still
Yeah,
take if they want to within the agency.
of course.
Yeah. It's a forever thing where they
Oh
don't
yeah.
stop training. They still do dance classes and all the other stuff. And that's why I really like when they release, these behind the scenes stuff, so us fans can have an even better appreciation for the things that they do. So I like this album. I think it's a really good solo debut. Hopefully, one of many for her and for the members of Twice.
Yeah.
Um, and imagine when they come back out for their next world tour. And I'm saying this because I want to manifest it into reality. When they come back, imagine. Let's just have a 3-hour concert because we can have it twice, and then we can have like they can perform a couple solo songs from each
Right.
of their debut. That would be
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Well, that's like what Blackpink did for their YouTube concert that they did.
Yeah.
They and I don't yeah, Lisa didn't have La Lisa at the
Not yet.
time.
But
What
solo and rose stuff was
Yeah,
out.
but then Jisoo did High All the Time.
She was great.
I can't remember what Lisa sang.
Lisa did a Doja Cat song.
Doja Cat song. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they each had their, they sang their solo. So yeah, I would love it if it's like all of a sudden we have another, world tour, but each of them have had solo.
3 hours. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like Nayeon does pop, Momo does something, Sana does something. It's like that'd be really cool.
You know what I would like to see, and this is going to like what I'm going to say next about her Neon's solo debut is for Momo. I would love to see, because she's lead dancer. Kind of how like, and this is not me comparing artists because I love them all equally. But you know how Lisa has like a series of like Lily films where she does
Oh yeah,
dances.
yeah.
I'd like to see some of that from Momo as well, because I think we haven't seen I'm selfish. We haven't seen enough
Yeah.
of Momo dancing.
Yeah, there's been a few that they've done,
Yeah.
um, but not a lot. I think there's only been like two that she's done, because like
Hmm.
they started doing like Sui sang "Me" by Taylor Swift,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I think so.
Yeah, and so and Dayoung sang something recently, and Momo did like a dance thing, not too long ago, within a
Yeah.
couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you because it's like that main dancer thing and how Lisa does all that. It would be really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I love to see, and obviously I want her to put out like, her own solo singles as well.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I do want to talk about, how when and this was with whether you debut as a group or you do a comeback as a group or a solo artist, you do the performance of like that single that you release, and you do it feels like 50, 60 times,
Yeah.
for a whole week to promote. And it's just the same over and over, but different channels, different
Yeah.
outfits. JYP choreography has always, I think, been very intricate. If you look at all of Twice's stuff, it's not just that like it's cardio heavy, but it's really intricate with all the hand movements, which we saw a lot
Yeah.
in pop. We see it in Stray Kids choreography. We definitely see it in ITZY choreography as well. So I was so curious about her choreography for it, and then naturally, as soon as one of her first like live stages went up, I was like, I couldn't click on it fast enough because you want to hear what she sounds like, you know, outside of the studio,
Right.
outside of the MV, and how stable she is. And I
They move
just
a lot.
I just don't know how they're all so stable. Like pop is not an easy dance, and like yeah, it's not
Mm-mm.
like crazy cardio, but at the same time, it is. She's jumping a lot.
They do a lot, and I think of like Yes or Yes.
Hmm.
That choreography is a lot. Like the whole entire time they're like moving their arms and yes
Hmm.
or yeah, like it's and I always think of ITZY because ITZY is first and foremost a dance group. That's kind of how they were made by
Yeah.
JYP, and I love to listen to their performance videos because you can kind of hear their voice a little bit more than like actual live. And I listen, I'm like, y'all are like basically doing a like Zumba class and still able to sing. And I'm like, how? Like, how they have to train so much because it's just like,
15 hours of training
yeah, just to
for
be able
3
to,
years.
well, they have to, you have to learn the dance, then you have to learn how to sing your part
Sing
during the
with it.
dance. Right.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
how to
just like,
reserve your breath. It's a lot. It's a whole different game when you start doing live performances and you have a dance element to it.
right.
Oof.
Well, it's like it's funny because you see all the live performances, and when they end, they're like they strike like a pose, and they're like,
Ending fairy. And they hold it.
"Yep,
Yeah. No, really fantastic solo debut from Nayeon. I am
yeah,
so happy that she's getting this opportunity, and I hope to see many, many more from her and the members of Twice. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to another girl group that we're super excited for.
very
And
very
that
excited."
is on my shirt, Blackpink. They're going to be in our area, in your area again, because they have finally been confirmed for a comeback. YG actually like made the
Finally,
announcement. There is a sort of a date which is slated for
August,
August
yeah,
of this year.
yeah,
And
which
that's
is crazy. It's next month.
yeah, I bet you they've
Yeah.
been working on it. You know, it
Oh,
doesn't seem
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
I think a lot of people think because they obviously we only see what they want us to see. So all we see
yeah.
is the girls. They are busy with their schedules,
Hmm.
right? You know, Lisa with Celine, Rose with YSL, and whatever other thing she's doing. She's doing a lot of Vogue magazine stuff.
Yeah,
They're all busy, right? But aside from just traveling, going to fashion shows, and being like a fashion ambassador, global ambassador, I am sure between traveling, they're finding time to go back into the studio and perfecting whatever album they're going to give us. So I am actually gonna go ahead and click on this article that they are releasing their next album, and they're also going to embark on, in
a
quotes, the
world.
largest world tour in the history of a K-pop girl group. I don't know what that means. I
Yeah,
just
that's
know that it was super hard to get tickets the last time they were in LA, and that was 2020.
yeah.
2020, yeah, 2019, 2020, something like that.
I I my wallet hurts already. Um,
We're going.
I'm going no matter what.
I will eat ramen straight up for 4 months so I can save up money to go see
Yeah.
Blackpink.
I mean, you know how much, or I think you might have an idea of how much I paid to get like front row tickets for Twice, like the first time that I saw them.
Oh my
A
gosh.
lot, like thousands of dollars. Cause one, you can't get it from Ticketmaster. Like you think about the millions of people who are going to want to go to these concerts is like, so you're going to be fighting millions of people.
Yes.
So I'm already ready to buy resale tickets. It's like so stupid.
How sad is that?
Yeah, I mean that's just how it is. Unfortunately, I had to do it for ITZY to get front row.
Yeah,
I had to buy
we did it for
resale.
Stray Kids
Stray
too.
Kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like you kind of have to do that, but it's funny because the night before, literally, like it was at nighttime. I was talking to my friend. I fell asleep. Woke up in the morning. that was the day they announced this all. The night before, I was like, I can't remember the exact conversation. We were talking about Blackpink, and I think we were talking about like standing people, and I was like, I used to stand them so hard. I was like, and then
Mm-hmm.
they started to go off and do their own thing. They haven't done music in a while, and I was like, and I'm like really wondering if they ever will again. They don't have to. They're so big as people on their own. They don't have to come back, and life as idols hard. All the like
Yes.
basically everything we just talked about, training and years making,
No
solo
private
stuff, or
life.
right, exactly. And most of them can't date right away when they debut and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's just really hard. Like Blackpink wasn't able, I don't know if they can, they might be able to now. They can't drive themselves places, can't have cars.
It's interesting because I heard that that's a very strict rule in YG. No drinking, well, no, the no drinking, no dating part, like I get, but the no driving is like a hard rule
Mm,
for YG, right? But then you
yeah.
look at Somi, who I get it, she's
She
technically under the black label, but that is a sister label to.
right. It's not YG
Girl
itself.
doesn't care. She drinks
She
on
does
camera.
everything. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
she drives her car, and I'm like, yes, Somi.
And
Sorry.
she seems like she's living her best life. She's
She
always
is.
like she always has people like in her TikToks and Instagram posts and stuff
Everybody.
like that. Like yeah, from like all different companies too.
Yeah.
So it's
I bet you if she ever wanted to, she can actually get like, well, I don't know if YG is like still, I don't think he's technically like the actual CEO anymore, but maybe just now founder, right? Or there's
sure.
some shifts that happen within the company. I'm not sure, but if she ever wanted him in like her TikTok challenge, I am
Oh,
100% sure,
sure.
or she'll get Teddy to do one with her
Yeah. Yeah.
or something like that. In any case,
Teddy.
super excited for Blackpink's comeback. It's long overdue.
Long overdue.
I hope this is big, big, big because they're. I think they have just so many songs that's just sitting there waiting to be released, um, and hopefully right after this will be Jisoo's
Solo.
solo debut. So
Yeah.
we can have her solo album out as well. I don't know if potentially this comeback would be like their last hurrah. And people say this, and I don't say this because I don't believe in them. I do. I love them. They're like one of my faves, and I want so much for them. But and this is on the entertainment agency more than anybody else. It's not on the girls. YG doesn't utilize them. They could
No.
keep them busy doing music and the brand stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they do only have them doing, what it seems like the fashion stuff, which I'm sure
Yeah.
the girls enjoy, but it's like they got into this because they love music.
Yeah. And I I have that same feeling, especially when they're like, this is going to be the biggest K-pop tour ever. I'm like, so
Mhm.
you're going out with a bang? Is that what you're saying? Like, that's
I
kind of
don't
what I
know.
fear. Right. You know what I mean? Just kind
Yeah.
of like, but I mean, you would think, and I don't know, because it's really hard to be a trainee and then go through all the stuff. Like those labels and agencies are strict, and it's rough and it's
Very
hard and
strict.
it's a very hard life. And if
Yeah.
you can be still just really famous and have people love you outside of all of that,
Mhm.
it's very appealing,
Oh,
which
yeah.
seems to be what they've done. And we don't know contract stuff, right? Maybe
Correct.
it was just like, hey, we only have one more album left in the contract, and maybe YG is like, well, we can wait a little bit to do it. Who knows? Who knows? But
Yeah,
I
we
am
don't know the
worried.
underworkings of it. But we
Right.
say that too with, groups that's been around a long time. And I think what worries us is the lack of activities that as a group that
Right. As
YG
a
gives
group.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Well,
have plenty of activities.
yeah. It's funny because anytime like because I just follow a bunch of accounts and stuff to keep up on everything. 'Cause anytime they're all in Korea, I'm like, they're recording something.
Oh,
Like just like
100%. They're
yeah,
working on it.
I was like, I just feel, and they don't actually have to all be in Korea at once to record something, but to do a music video and to do choreography and stuff, they obviously do.
Yeah.
But it's like twice. Like their contract's up in October, and everyone's like, "Oh, they might not resign." And then like after the tour, they all got their personal Instagrams. I'm like, "Oh no, it's happening!
I know you freaked
They're
out.
gonna disband." I was like, "Oh no!" But then they announced Nayeon's mini album, and I was like, "Okay, this is good. Like this is good." And I'm okay with them doing solo stuff. Not like, if I wasn't okay, it would stop them. But uh, I didn't mean it to sound like that. But what I really mean is I love them as a group,
Yes.
and I want them to come back. And it's the same as Blackpink. Like
Yeah.
I love them individually, and I'm really happy for them. If they're happy doing all this stuff, I'm happy for them. If not, like, they deserve a break. But I love them
Yeah.
as a group, so it's like I'm really excited for this. And if it
Yes.
is the last time they come together for like an
Oh,
album and stuff like that, I will be happy that YG's at least gonna try to make it as big as they can.
it should be as big as it can. So let's go ahead and give our listeners some like factual stuff for this tour. Per YG Entertainment, Blackpink will kick off their comeback in August. New music from the group will be released, as well as the start of a, and this is in quotes, continuous large scale project, which will extend through the second half of the year. So it's really unclear what it's going to be exactly, but an
Yeah,
album and the tour is definitely a part of it. So we know that, you just said it, that they've been really busy, probably recording, prepping. MV probably have been shot already. We don't know.
yeah,
But per the press release, a lot of, and this is in quotation, a lot of Blackpink-esque music have been prepared over a long period of time. So again, there's no exact release date, but it looks like we will get an album. And I'm hoping for this album because they've had only mini albums.
right. Yeah, I
And
mean the
they came
last
out
one
with
was
the album, which I have,
6 songs or 8. I can't remember.
8
It's
songs.
8 songs. Yeah,
That's like two Stray Kids. That's a mini album.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know
what's
what I
interesting
mean?
is like 2 songs I think were completely in English. Like I Bet You Wanna with Cardi B,
Yes. Ice
and
Cream?
that no,
No,
there's Korean. Lisa raps in Korean.
that's right. Oh
It's
gosh.
Love Me or Hate Me. Is that the name of that track? I can't, but I think that's the one.
Is
It's
that the other one that's on
You Ain't Worth
English?
My Love if you only love to hate
Love
me.
to Hate Me.
Love to hate. Yeah, I think that song's
Okay,
in
yeah, I
completely in
think so.
English.
Yeah, a lot of
Love to Hate
English.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of English in their I just want more than 8. I'd like a
Yeah, I want
full,
like
like,
12. Like,
at least 12.
yeah,
At least give me 12, cuz and if you listen to the what is it? The Netflix documentary
documentary. Yeah.
called Light Up the Sky. I've been rewatching it.
Hmm.
Even Teddy says, like, he's like, we have so many
They have
songs.
so much music. Right. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, then release it. What are you doing? You're not there. Like, are they making that much money for the agency that the agency doesn't? You know what I'm saying? There's
I
music.
know.
Release it. The fans are so hungry for it. I am so hungry for it.
And that's why I say like we don't know the intricate parts of behind the scenes with contracts and stuff. Cause I'm like, dude, if I'm YG, I'm releasing Blackpink music. Like I'm, I'm doing stuff with Blackpink. There's just so much we don't know. And there's so
Yeah.
much to like take into consideration, like
Yeah.
the health of all of the members and stuff like that. Like, people say things about JYP, but when Mina needed to take time off because of her anxiety, she took time off. When Jung had to take time off, she took time off for a while. And
Yeah.
health is in mental health, including is included in that. That's really important. So we don't know if that's something that went
Yes.
into this little hiatus or whatever, but
And they don't
I would.
necessarily need to like explain
They don't
that
have
to,
to. No.
like, if the girls wanted to keep it private,
Right.
then
Exactly.
then the agency did them, the respect of like, oh, you want to keep it private? Okay, then we just won't say anything.
Right, exactly. They don't, their lives are already broadcasted enough. So, I want, especially what you said, like with the documentary, I do want like 12 tracks at least, but I feel like it's gonna be like 10.
Just give us a full album.
I know.
22 songs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Variant covers. I'm buying them all. I will buy them
Oh,
all. I will
I
pull a
I
Laura Siri
always
cool and
yeah.
and buy 6 albums from Korea, 6 albums from the US, just to bump up that number for them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's
Get
what
the
I always
photo
do.
cards.
All the box sets, like I just did it with ITZY.
Oh,
For,
nice.
for their new one coming up. It's like, oh, buy the edgy version, Leah, Rujin, Chaeyoung, who am I missing?
Did you say Yeji?
I always say Yeji. She's the first one. Yeji's my favorite.
Oh, Chaeyoung.
Yeji, Lady, Chaeyoung, Rujin. I forgot Yuna.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love you.
We
If you're
love
watching.
you. So yeah, but look, at the end of the day, we are super excited for this announcement. I think we're just a little salty sometimes because we want more from the company,
That's
Like the
because we love them.
yeah, it's because we love them. We're hungry for them, and I think they're so good. Their stage presence is fantastic. The chemistry between the girls is something I really love. Like I can't see Blackpink without all four of them.
Right.
So like it's hard to imagine if they ever like would disband. So I hope they stay together forever, even if they just don't do solo stuff. I don't care, but just stay together as a group.
I'll watch Lily film videos of just the four of them together. I love watching like the YouTube videos, like behind the scenes stuff of them. Just like, first of all, Jisoo's hilarious. She's so funny. Like, he's my son.
He's my son.
So
No,
Nayeon.
never.
No, never.
Never.
She's just.
I'm not scary.
I'm not scary. I love it, and she doesn't flinch. Is the crazy part.
She really does.
She
She's got
doesn't
the
move.
best poker face out of the
She
four.
really did.
She is, yeah. She's something else.
Yeah. So but they're all fantastic individually. It's just when they're together, like you said, it's like something else, and it's just like, yeah, even if they disband, I'd still like to like see like videos of them on their Instagrams and stuff like that, like all together. And I'm sure they would, right? Yeah. I've always wondered, like, oh, like NCT or like groups that have just like a ton of people. I'm like, they can't all like each other. Like, you know what I mean? They could maybe tolerate each other, but it's like, if you have a group of like more than 10 people, you probably have groups within the groups, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like
subunits.
Yeah. And I would like to think they're all like, no, we're a family, we're all super close, but it's like, just by like a sheer number thing, like there's got to be one person who doesn't like another person in the group.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like that for like Blackpink or like Twice.
No,
like,
they're too close. They're like sisters.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like sisters because they all kind of entered around the same time. Training and they just kind of stuck together. So looking forward to more announcements from Blackpink in regards to their comeback, and we will definitely be covering it on K-pop Besties. So make sure if you guys are watching this right now, subscribe or follow if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next little bit of news, which has me anxiety's been high. Yeah, but let's go ahead and put this photo up here. We got the Stray Kids. They have kicked off the US leg of their world tour. However, they actually had to postpone 2 dates from their tour, their current Maniac tour, after 3 members have tested positive for COVID. And this happened on July 2nd. Live Nation announced it on Twitter along with JYP that they were supposed to be in Atlanta on July 3rd, and they were supposed to be, as of yesterday, we're supposed to perform also in Fort Worth, Texas. I believe there's a Fort Worth. That's the one in Texas they're thinking about, unless I'm thinking about a different.
I think so.
Okay. Because sometimes, let me take this little thing off, because there's also an Orange County in Florida. So when I say sometimes as a Floridian, I say Orange County, and people are like, huh? And I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's where I grew up.
There's a Hollywood, Florida, and there was a Hollywood, California.
I grew up in Orange County, Florida.
There you go.
In Orlando. Yep.
Nice.
I know what you mean.
So those two shows. Huh?
I said, well, it's been 5 days, like we were talking about before.
Yeah, it's been 5 days. So far, those are the only 2 shows that have been postponed after the 3 members have tested positive for COVID. And the members are Lino, Felix, and IN. And so according to this article that I'm reading, they did test positive on the 2nd. And then after that, they went to the hospital and they got a PCR test, which usually if you do a self-test and it's positive,
right,
more than likely,
your
PCR is 100% going to come back positive. So I hope those members are doing okay and they're recovering well. I like to think that they're in shape and they're young.
Yeah.
That they're, having very mild, if any, symptoms at all, and they can recover quickly so they can continue with their tour once they feel healthy, and that no one else, staff or member, gets sick from COVID, because it is very contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I heard this news, I texted Warren right away and I was like, oh no, because we have tickets for the Sunday. Yeah. For July 10th. So as of right now, at the time of recording this episode, we haven't heard any sort of news otherwise. So I'm hoping that the members are resting and testing, and that they can continue their tour without any further interruptions. I feel really bad for the stays who
don't get to see them.
Yeah, I mean, it's postponed, so they will.
Hopefully they go back.
They'll go back. Like, what do you do with those tickets? Do you get a refund?
So you get a refund. so during the pandemic, I was supposed to see Taylor Swift play like a festival or something like that. But tickets went on sale, Ticketmaster, everything like that. Got tickets. Then the pandemic happened, and then at first it was like it will be rescheduled, and then it's like, oh, the pandemic's not going away. Here's your money back. So the show never happened. It's to this day hasn't happened. Which like I'm okay with, because all she did was like folksy stuff in the pandemic, and I was like, I don't really want to go see her play all this folksy stuff. Not that I really dislike it, but
yeah,
I'd like her to drop like a new album, then do a new tour, and But yeah, that's what happened with us. They postponed it, but then eventually never came. Well, I mean, maybe it's likely because they had COVID and they're like, we're not going to risk it again. But
right,
nowadays, like you said, they're healthy, they're young, and they're celebrities. They have access to fancy doctors and stuff that the most of the world probably doesn't have access to. So they should be all right. We wish the best for them. And as sad as it is, if they are not better, they shouldn't perform.
Yeah, if they're not healthy, then I don't want them, getting other members who are currently not sick, and
right.
they should. If you're sick, then they should really take the time to like recover. As much as I want to see them, I would rather them be healthy than anything else.
Yeah, well, it's like when we went to Twice, like then we found out a whole bunch of people got COVID. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I've had COVID 3 times. And maybe that was enough for me, because we went to the concert and I didn't get done. Right, I didn't get COVID, but then we went to Star Wars Celebration. I sat literally in the town car that took us to the airport. Right next to me, our arms were touching. That woman got COVID, and we sat next to each other on the plane as well. Like there was an aisle between us, but we were right next to each other. And she emailed me the next morning. We're like, just I've got COVID. I was like, great, I have COVID.
Gosh.
I was like, I have COVID. Like, there's no way I don't.
I know you were worried because you texted me.
Yeah, well, because it's an hour. It was an hour long car ride, and then we stayed with each other in the airport, right? Because we're both from Utah, and so then we flew. Like I said, we were right next to each other, but the aisle was in between us. So like,
right.
And I was just like, "There's no way I don't have it," but I didn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, the vaccine. And I guess having it 3 times, I guess I would hope
antibodies are still swimming around.
Exactly. But the point of all that is like literally just like one person could get thousands of people sick.
Yes. There was, quick segue, and I don't know names, and this is not coming from any parties that I know directly, but apparently there was some people who knowingly they had COVID and still went to Star Wars Celebration because they wanted to go.
Of course.
And chose to not wear a mask while you were sick.
Oh, well, that's even.
And I'm like, okay, that's the bare minimum that you could have done. You still couldn't do it.
People
still couldn't. I mean, I don't know. The names weren't dropped.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I don't know. I didn't read it from but you know how there's like an influx of tweets
of course.
that happened?
No, yeah. It's just.
Which I expected, honestly, because that virus is so freaking contagious and it's so new that it's able to evolve and mutate and evade all these other antibodies or your immune system and etc. But I had a feeling, people would, potentially get COVID from it, because it's not just okay, everybody from Anaheim is going to go. It's people traveled from everywhere in the world to go to Star Wars Celebration. So it's you can't control that part of it. You just can't.
Right. And I think any big con,
it's a risk.
I think it's a guarantee that some people are going to get COVID. I just do. A concert.
I half expected it. Yeah. When you and I went to Twice, that's why I chose to leave my mask on the whole time. Was it comfortable? Not super just behind the ears. It's a little achy.
Right. Yeah.
But do I feel just mentally it made me feel better? Yes. Was it? Yeah. So did I get sick? No, I didn't get sick.
And you have high risk family members, which
both my my dad specifically, and then my father-in-law, who's had a couple of pretty intense surgeries recently. So it's we have to
be safe.
Be really, and they're older, so it's I just don't want to be responsible for that, because I don't think I could live with myself.
Better
if it was my fault. Yeah, I'd rather be safe. And if it's the least of it all, me putting on a mask and be slightly uncomfortable and I mean by the slightest, They're
Yeah,
fine.
and I felt bad because I was like, man, I took the mask off when we got to our seats pretty much.
Yeah.
And because I knew I'm gonna scream, like I'm just gonna
Hmm.
scream, like.
Hmm.
And I was there the night before, pretty much in the same spot, so I was like, I want him to see my face, I want him to recognize me,
Yeah.
maybe. And I think, by the way, I think Shay did because she pointed at me one time. I have it on video. She's literally like, and I was like,
You're
yeah.
back.
So I'm like, I wonder if that's what it was because I was waving at her, obviously, because she walked by, and then she like, so I was like, did you just recognize me? Because in the article they just came out with something, I have it on my phone. She talks about, I thought it was me, but then they said it was from the Texas show. She's like, there's this guy dancing front row, and I looked at him and he was looking at me, and she's like, and I felt like he was like challenging me to a dance off. I was like, was it me? I was like, oh, it's from Spider-Man. It's an interview with Cosmopolitan.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Imagine if they said that it was in LA. I was
In
like,
LA, I
oh,
would have been like, that was me.
most likely was Warren because we were kind of going ham.
We really were. Really were.
Yeah. It was
So,
great. But
yeah.
anyways, yeah, for Stray Kids, we're holding out hope that I can show off my little light stick, take
With
it to
the
a
sticker
show.
on it. Show the sticker.
With a sticker on it. I got it from Etsy. But I got my biases on here. You guys already know Felix Chambing. You have a bias?
Felix.
In yes, that voice.
I really like Han too. I just like his rap.
Han
style.
is an ace, man.
Yeah, I mean,
he is
yeah.
so good. Han is like my wrecker.
Your wrecker.
So my biases are Felix and Chanbing, right? But somebody asked me the other day, like, who's your wrecker? I'm like, oh, Banchan for sure. And they're like, do you have a wrecker? Just to be funny. I was like, yeah, it's probably Han. He's so good at everything.
My wrecker probably be Hyunjin. Just because visuals. He's really good.
And he's so, you know what's cool about him? He's got this like cool guy vibe. Like anything he does is, it looks effortless, even though he's sweating up a storm.
Yeah.
But he makes it look so like, oh God, I don't know what it is about him. When I watch him dance, I'm like, man, there's something like very magnetic about the way he performs. So hopefully we will get to see them and witness all this
Sunday
live on Sunday. I really hope so, or otherwise my entire apartment is just going to be blasting Stray Kids all day while I cry into a bowl of something.
We'll go do something.
We'll go to K-Town. Yeah, K-Town. We'll go get some like fried chicken or something. There's good food. So
we'll do it.
That is the case. Let's go ahead and move on to our next bit, which is this show right here. This is called, in English, it is called My ID Is Gangnam Beauty, and it is streaming right now. It's been streaming forever, honestly.
A while. Yeah, it's been out for a while.
On Netflix, and I had just finished Business Proposal, and I was texting Warren because that's what we do. We literally are besties. Like, we didn't just get together conveniently to do a podcast. We literally talk about mostly K-pop.
Really?
All the time, K-drama stuff. And I asked Warren, hey, do you have any like recommendations for the next K-drama? Because I don't know what I want to watch. And so I threw up some title, and he's like, what about this one? And I actually hadn't heard of it until you told me about it.
Interesting.
But I recognized the poster.
I was gonna say it's interesting you haven't heard about it, because I felt like it was pushed on Netflix for a bit.
Yeah, like the pictures I definitely recognized. So I was like, oh, okay. I gave it a go, and it was a journey because I watched the first episode.
Oh gosh, the text messages you were
sending me. We should release those. We should release them. I have to take a look at it. Oh my gosh.
They were so fun.
I like to scream a lot at the TV or talk at the TV when I'm watching K-drama. I don't watch with anybody else, so I'm not like interrupting anybody else's time other than myself. But there is obviously they follow Mireille, who is she undergoes a number of
different plastic surgeries
procedures, because they never showed her.
That was.
I kind of wish they did.
Me too. And in my mind, I'm like, they showed us enough like pieces of her to like you gather
to make
your
it
image,
look like
right.
Yeah.
You like gather this image in your head. But even when Kyung-suk was at her parents' place with the picture, I was like, oh, they're gonna show us, and they didn't. I was like,
I was really hoping that they would, but they never did, and which is fine. I think they left it up for interpretation for the audience. Well, and also in a way, go ahead. I think you're gonna say what I'm gonna say.
Well, I was gonna say, if like the whole idea is like there's this really ugly girl, and then if you show a girl, it's like they're gonna imply that girl's ugly. Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
But
you don't want to do that. And also, I think it's, how we perceive our physical appearance,
sure,
in the mirror. What we see is not necessarily what other people see. And so
we
I think
are our own worst critics.
yeah, so I think they left that up to like, like the viewer's imagination. But, she gets the plastic surgery. No one recognizes her essentially unless you went to middle school with her and you recognize her whole name. But there was obviously a lot of the boys were immediately interested in her. They were drawn to her beauty, which was very like superficial. And that's what I didn't like about it. I was like, but like y'all are in the chemistry department and you're all smart to be able to test into this college, because that's how it works. So you have to test into these colleges. And it's like, you're not even talking about, you're just, and so that bothered me a little bit. But what bothered me the most is this senior by the character, nothing on the actor. He did a fantastic job.
He does a great job.
Yeah, Kim Chong-woo is the name. He is the senior. And I literally stopped watching it, I think for several days. And I texted Warren and I said, man, I don't think I can watch this. Like, this one guy is basically sexually harassing her. I can't watch it. He's
that was the first episode, and I was like, "Where did you stop?" And you're like, "Right at this part." I'm like, "Oh no, keep going."
Yeah. And by the way, I guess we should say, if you haven't watched the drama yet, there's going to be slight spoilers for this, because we want to get into this drama. But I stopped watching it because of, he basically was like, she was so uncomfortable being in that same room with him. And he almost like pressured her to like, you want to date me, right? I'm interested in you. I was like, you don't even know what her favorite color or her favorite food is. Get real.
I know. It was like very cringy when he like took her to the place.
Yeah. He locked the door.
That's I was gonna say, and then when he locks the door, it's like, oh,
red flags.
Boy. Like, yeah. So he was a pain. But as like I said, you stopped like right at the part where like Kyung-suk was about to like basically, break the door down.
I turned it off. I was like, I can't watch this, and walked away from it. And I think Warren had to actually give me some spoilers in like the most vague way possible.
I tried to be vague.
I promise you it gets better, and this guy gets what's coming. And I'm like,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Okay.
That's what you told me. And I said, okay, fine. And it really did get better. I think my problem with the beginning of it is they really centered around, it was awkward, not because the writing is awkward, but because the character, they're so young. They literally, finished high school and now they're starting their adult life like in college. And for someone like Mirai, who hasn't had much experience, because she, like, everybody shunned her because of her appearance, which is terrible. So she is very like, why are you talking to me? And she's still very self-conscious of not just what she may still look like, even though after the surgery, but what everybody else's face looked like. And she was fixated on all those other things. That I think what's the most interesting part about this drama is the journey that each of the characters go on, like where they start and where they finish. And it's quite satisfying for us to watch some of the characters do that. I don't feel like all the characters kind of got the same treatment, which we'll get into, but I'm happy to see where Mirai was at the end of the drama, where she's so comfortable in her own skin. And I love that they made her just like so smart. She wasn't shy about speaking up either. It seemed like it. Like she was mousy, but when she finally got pushed to the edge, she's like, hey, that's enough. And she stood up for herself more and more towards the end of the drama, which I really enjoyed. And seeing between her and Council, like, finally warm up and be comfortable with each other was really satisfying to see, because they were so awkward in the beginning.
Oh my gosh, when she takes out straws to use as like chopsticks to eat popcorn so they don't have to accidentally touch hands, I'm like, what is happening right now?
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny because I did try to like help you with things, but I didn't want to like spoil anything. But I think I might have told you, I think I was like, you have to like stick through the middle, because like in the beginning, this is what I tried to avoid saying. And I think I did. I don't think I told you this, but what I was going to say is like, you want certain characters to get together and then it just really seems like they're not. And that's when you're kind of like, well, what the heck? Like, cause it really seems like, Mireille was going to get with, Woo Young,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, this like he's cool. Like, he's definitely a cool dude. He's a great guy. Like
He would have
in
been a
the
good choice as well.
he would have been a great choice.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, no, get with Kyung-suk. Like, so
Yeah.
and you go through like several episodes, like 5 episodes of that. So I wanted to tell you, like, just get through this part, but I was afraid that that would be like, well, they're gonna get together. Like, you know, that kind of confirms that like eventually they'll get together. Although it's like what, 16 episodes?
It's only 16
18,
episodes.
16, yeah,
Mhm.
and they don't get. I mean, you know, we already said spoiler. They don't get together till the end.
Literally
Like,
the final 2 episodes.
yeah, like the end. But like you said, it was really cool to see just how much in the final episode, how comfortable they were with each other. And it's so funny because Kyung-suk's just like, you know, when does a girlfriend start getting tired of a boyfriend and stuff like that? Because she's acting like she, you know, she doesn't remember his birthday. And then when they finally go to that place, you know, he's like holding her and she turns around and they're kissing, whereas like the first time they kissed it was very awkward. And it's
Yes.
like, this is probably the first kiss for both of these people, because
Yeah.
yes, Kyung-suk was like the super, you know, handsome guy. Even when they go to the school in the second last episode, they're like, oh, that's the famous
That's the
guy,
legendary
that's the
guy.
legendary hot guy from the school, right? It's just
Yeah.
like he said that he's always just been alone, right? And you can
Mhm.
tell he's one of those guys just like, people annoy me. It's like, you know, because all they talk about is how handsome I am. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what a curse.
He's like, "I'm more than that, though. Ask me about me."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it is cool to see how close and comfortable they get with each other at the end. I will say, and we were talking about this before, I wanted Hyungjung to get with
The roommate.
Woo Young. Yeah. The
Yes.
2 roommates I wanted to get together. And I would have liked Woo Young, Hyungjung to become a rapper, but that never happened
That never I'm
either.
so sad that she is, like, my favorite character because she's just so protective of her friend. Like, that is a friend that everybody wishes they had in their
Right.
life if you could have
For
one.
sure.
Someone like her, you hold on to that person for dear life,
Yeah.
because she always went to bat for Mireille. She never felt I don't think she was ever jealous of her, and I don't think she ever felt threatened by her. Where a
Right.
lot of these girls in the college, they definitely were very like competitive
I
with each
mean,
other.
oh
Um,
yeah.
and that's another thing that almost turned me off. But I'll get back to that because I do want to finish talking about our favorite best friend. Yeah, they didn't explore her rapper, like, she had a whole thing for that, and they gave her an
Yeah.
in, and she was like, "Oh, I failed," and I was like, "Where is this going, though? Is she gonna get with
Nowhere.
the
Yeah.
rapper? Is she gonna become, like, a trainee? Is she gonna get together with the senior TA who is also in Vincenzo?" Like, and none of it happened, and I
It
think they
just
would have
didn't
been
happen.
so cute together, but it's fine because he had a whole 'nother idea of, like, what love and his who he wanted his girlfriend to be.
His payout, like, I brought her up because you're talking about some character stories like don't play out, and his did. They kind of finished it, right?
Mhm.
With that whole I don't remember, that was like a side, you know, side character that wasn't in that much. He's like, you know, there's this girl who's interested, she wants to meet you, you'll meet her. No, because I want love at first sight.
Yeah.
And then you have the stupid Changwoo comes back, oh, I'll meet her. It's like so stupid.
I was like, "Get out of
um
here."
yeah, I remember you text me. You're like, "He's back. Why is he back?" I was like,
Why is he still in this drama?"
he's a little more bearable now, though." Like, but yeah, that was just one thing that I felt should have ended. Hyungjung, she should have got a good story finished for her, because they talk about multiple times how like she was friends with Mide
Mhm.
even when she was, you know, way back then and blah 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 blah. And
Yeah.
then even Kyung Suk was like, well, you know, sometimes I saw y'all together, but why didn't I? And it just says a lot about Mireille. She's like, because I didn't want her to be around me. It made it hard. She would get in fights with other girls because of me and stuff like that. So in school, we didn't hang out, but you know, at home we would. And Mireille taught her math. There's that whole thing where she's like, you had to
Yeah.
put up with me too, you know, like, and she's like, oh, that's right. Like, oh, but yeah, like that whole relationship is like really, really great. And yeah, I don't feel like she ever really was like I feel like she was a genuinely good friend who was happy that she got surgery because it made her feel better, not because
Yes.
she thought she was ugly, but because it made her feel better.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I think it took a while to get there, but when it ramped up, it was really good. Another reason that it was hard for me to get through was that it was I felt like I was watching a bunch of pick me girls, and I was just like,
Oh,
oh, just all the attention. And I knew there was something more to all of these characters.
sure.
So it was just hard to kind of watch that, you know, and have them just be so superficial about specifically looks.
Yeah.
But I guess it goes with the title of the
That's the
show.
point of
My
the
ideas.
show, though,
That's the whole
right?
point of the
Yeah.
show. The Korean beauty standard and how
Mhm.
it's so high. The bar is so high that it's like it's
And they even make like the whole like
yeah,
Gangnam Beauty,
yeah,
um, part with Mire's parents
yeah. They
calling.
mistaken
They
her.
mistake that, right? Because it's like, um, yeah, it's funny because all I think is Gangnam Style because he's singing about how that city is, right? Like the style of that city. Um, and it's just like this very super, like a lot of people have plastic surgery and stuff like that, and that's what they kind of like compare her to. And then finally by the end, with Sua, who drove you crazy the entire time, by the end, Mide's like, I'm done, like I don't want to do this anymore. And she would always rate what people 1 out of 10 in the beginning,
Yeah,
and then she thinks Kyung stopped because he realized, he's like, do you rape people like when you meet them? Like he like no like pick. I really like his character a
yeah.
lot.
He
Yeah.
was very quiet, but he was really observant.
The only thing I have to say is I laugh at him so much because of his facial expressions. Like, because he'd be quiet and he'd be like, his
Yep.
eyes would just get big and his head would like
Yep.
turn, but then he wouldn't say anything. And I
Yep.
just think, like, if I was in front of you, like in person, like if you were at my school, I'd be like, what's up, dude? Like,
You okay?
yeah, like, yeah, you hanging in there, buddy? And that, like, one of my favorite scenes is when the two guys, Wong Ho and I don't remember the other one's name, the two friends,
Hmm.
they're like sitting there and they're like, oh, look, it's Kung Suk. I've never seen him walk that fast before. Oh, he's running. Like, it's just like so fun
That's
because
right.
he's so cool. He's calm and
He's so cool and
collected.
calm.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of
so they're
very
like, oh,
nonchalant,
he's
cool guy.
running. Like, yeah.
I've never seen him move that fast in my life. Yeah.
So,
So let's talk about Sua.
Sua.
Sua is the one person that about halfway through the show, I started texting you. All my text messages, I'm sure if I were to look back now, that's all I texted you about.
Sua.
The worst. Again, nothing with the actress, okay? It's the character.
Yeah, no,
Um,
totally. I think actually acting, everyone did an amazing job.
really good job. I mean, if you can do that to a character for me to like hate you every single time I see her on the screen, I'm like, you've done your job as an actor. I'm sure she's lovely in real life.
Yeah.
But Sua is, the comparison between her and Mira is like the two prettiest girls in the chemistry department, but
Hmm.
Sua apparently was, never undergone any sort of plastic
She's
surgery, while Mira
natural.
has had, yeah, she's a natural, and that's something where she kind of, I don't remember the exact line that she said, but she kind of holds herself in like more superior than others because she was born naturally beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
And to achieve her level of beauty, everyone else had to get plastic surgery, and you're still not pretty no matter what.
Right. She made that whole point of like it cheapens natural beauty
Yeah, and I
when
was
other
like, oh
people.
no,
Yeah. It's kind of like a
that's not it.
scarcity thing,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
what bothered me about her was, and I couldn't figure her out, and the show, the writing really had me because I was like, what is it about this girl? And I had so many theories.
Oh, you had some you had some great theories about what was gonna happen. I was cracking up. I was cracking up at some of your theories. That's
So we'll get into it because, a lot of guys were interested in her. A lot of the girls even were fawning over her, and she is very, I mean, everybody in the drama is pretty, but
Mhm.
she definitely stands out. And she had this air about her where it's kind of like innocent, like, oh, I don't know that I'm pretty, sort of a thing. And when the boys would show interest in her, And it started to bother me when Chang-woo, yeah, Chang-woo, the annoying senior that I didn't like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
he, obviously wasn't getting anywhere with Mirai. He was like, forget you, I'm moving on to another person. And and what made me mad is Sua used Mirai as sort of a point of deterrence, was like, no, sorry, I can't do anything with you because Mirai told me that she likes you. I was like, you liar.
Yeah, but when she's the one who like her whole deal the entire show was like, "Oh, like this guy likes another girl. Well, I'm gonna go tell him that I like him or hint at it, and they're gonna stop." And it like worked every time.
Every single time, to the
Yeah,
point where it bothered me because the girls continue to be friends with her. And I'm like, how can you do this to somebody you call your fellow
yeah,
classmate and a
yeah.
friend who is like, there with you, eating lunch and eating all the meals with you and doing classes with you? What they did to, and I'm trying to find sorry, I'm like not super familiar with all
There's a
the
lot of
names.
people in it.
Tei,
Tay, yeah.
like, what, that was my least favorite. I mean, I'm equally mad at her ex-boyfriend who like took the
Oh, of
bait.
course. And I'm so glad she
Yeah,
stood up
at
to
the
him at
end
the
where she
end.
was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm glad that felt that, what you did was not right, not the best thing, but I've grown from it. So
Right. Yeah.
I got no time for you. See you later. And I was like,
Well,
satisfying.
you know what's really funny is one of my favorite characters is Yuan.
Mm.
The like she even cared for
The
Sua
uni?
yeah, and she even cared
Yeah.
for Sua after all this stuff and was there for her when she got out of the hospital, when she got out of counseling. She was there for like everybody, and I think she's like gorgeous too.
Yeah, she's
I think
so
she's
pretty.
really pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I like the entire time watching this, like this, I like this character. I was like, she's such a great character.
I could see
Um,
like a season two. I know they don't do season twos, but I
right.
could easily see one.
Oh,
I
for
could easily
sure.
see one
Yeah,
for
you
this.
could. Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
could as well. And um it's funny though. We should talk about some of your theories, one in particular. Um,
Yes.
what? But I pegged it from the beginning. I knew exactly what Sua was.
Really?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
100%. Maybe it's just 'cause I've dealt with them before.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No,
Ugh.
no, whatever. High school, right? But no, I pegged it right away. I was like,
Wow.
she thinks she's the prettiest in all the land. And if a guy's interested in another girl, it doesn't even matter if she's interested in that guy. She doesn't want other girls to have attention. It's simple. And she's one of those girls that gets close with other girls so they can be diabolical. And I was like, and yeah, she was probably bullied as a kid for like being ugly or something. And she grew up and got pretty. And all of a sudden people liked her. And I thought all this. I was like, and so she thought I have to be pretty and I have to act a certain way for people to like me.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. But why don't you tell everyone what you thought was going on?
Mine was more, it's definitely not as in depth as your theory, because I was like, I didn't go into the whole character deep dive, and I was just trying to look at from the surface thing. I was like, all right, she's doing all of this to trying to get the boyfriends, but she doesn't seem to be interested in them. Therefore, it must mean she is actually into Kanmire, and that's
Yeah.
why she kept on trying to dissuade
I love it.
Kyungsuk from dating her, because if she can't date her, no one can.
Exactly.
So I was like, maybe she's got a thing for her. That would have been a fun twist.
I think that would have been a great twist. I'd be like, didn't see that coming.
Didn't see that
Everybody
coming.
but Wendy didn't see that coming.
Season 2, My ID Is Gangnam Beauty. That's what they can do.
A different one? Yeah. I mean,
Different characters.
yeah.
Why
And
not?
I'm glad I think she had a good arc because
Yes.
she was there to be, the antagonist. And but at the end I think it paid off. There's you were even texting me. She's like, I'm kind of worried she's gonna do something with this glass here.
I was
Yeah,
like, is she okay? Because the turning point for Sua was we had become the outcast for everybody. Everybody started to find out,
right.
what, just like, not what she was doing to the other girls, her fellow girlfriends, boyfriends, but what was she doing to herself as far as
Herself.
eating disorder, and which is like a terrible thing. And I'm glad that they touched on it a little bit. That I was like, this is very, very unhealthy, and like, how far are you willing to go to match that quote unquote beauty standard,
Right.
right? That's like super not
That's
great.
yeah.
But the extreme is that this one younger guy in their department, one of the juniors, had a crush on her and she was friendly towards him, and he mistook that for, oh, I think I have a chance. But she was kind of like dealing the same deal to every most of the guys. Some of them
Right. That's
stopped
just
taking
how
the
she
bait.
like behaves. Yeah.
Yeah, but he took it to the extreme where he found out where she lived and went with, I think the intent wasn't actually to harm, it was really
No,
more to
to
scare,
scare.
but it's still not good.
Oh
It
no,
yeah, like, so his story ended with him obviously being punished for that. He's
expelled.
kicked out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a no-fly zone, guys. We
Well,
don't we
and
don't do that.
no, but he was also taking pictures of her,
Yeah, like
like
that's
inappropriate
a
pictures, like
mm-mm.
up this trying to get up the skirt and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's that alone right there is actually a warrant for, criminal uh like charges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and it's interesting that they did that because it's kind of like that final thing to where it's just like Sua cares so much and she thinks her face has acid on it. And she's like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
And then that's when the whole Mireille thing's like, who cares? Like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm done like being superficial and caring about all this stuff. And then it hits Sua. And I think what really hits Sua is the fact that Mireille is there when she wakes up in the hospital.
Yes, and
Because
holding her
then
hand.
right. And then she cuts her hair off. And then I love when she meets Kyung Suk and she's like, I just want to tell you I never liked you. Not even a little bit. I'm like, I love it. And he
You know,
does too. Because he's like, finally, you admit it. You know what I
you
mean?
admit
Like,
it.
because he
Yeah.
knew, so.
He knew. He saw. I'm telling you, he saw through everything. Like, he
Oh,
was so
everything.
observant. Can I tell you a small part of me during that scene? If she was gonna follow up that with, I was actually interested in you. I was holding out hope just a little bit. I was like, maybe that is still the motivation. It wasn't. It's not.
Oh, you held up to the very end
I was like,
there.
but I did like that she cut her hair, because I think a lot of um people kind of associate long hair with beauty,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like that there's a one girl who didn't really dress
Oh,
like to
right.
like their quote
Yeah.
unquote standard, like
Hmm.
feminine or cute. I thought she was cool. Like, I thought I
Yeah.
really liked her vibe, and she was actually brave enough to confess to the senior TA about her true feelings in a note.
The roommate.
And
Yeah.
the roommate, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, and I was like really wondering if that was going to go somewhere for her character
Yeah,
too,
I was too.
but I
Yeah.
mean, we only have 16 episodes and they're technically only an hour long. Sometimes the dramas are an hour and a half.
Yeah, sometimes they're long. Yeah.
Sometimes they're long, but this one was only an hour, so I don't think they could have like wrapped up everybody's, like, all the characters' side story. But I liked her a lot too. So that goes to show, I think Sua, granted she was pretty awful through most of the drama, at the end, I think she is still healing a
Yeah.
lot of like internal stuff. But I think the fact that she cut her hair off and took time away from school was a big deal, and that's a part of her going away from what she thinks is
Yeah.
like important, which is like her beauty.
Yeah, and there's a lot of layers, I think, because you never know what someone goes through. Like her mom abandoned her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like twice, technically.
Yeah. Awful.
And like, the second time she's like, please don't abandon me again. And
I
it's
was
just kind
like,
of
what
like,
is this crap? Who are your parents?
right, exactly. It's just kind of like, um, yeah, it's just there's more to it, right? That meets the eye. It's like she found happiness in beauty, right? She
Mm-hmm.
wasn't loved. People make fun of her, and all of a sudden she takes a shower because her abandoning mother washed her. Like, and people are like, oh my gosh, look at Sua. Like, and then it's like, okay, well, this is a lot better than being miserable than I was before. So this is what I'm gonna go into.
Yeah.
And they show her writing, like, in order to be loved, I have to be pretty. I have to take a shower. Like, I have to act like I don't think I'm pretty. It's like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's so
Yeah.
she had it down. Like by the time she got to college, she had it down to a T. But I would have been like Kyung Suk, because I saw through it in the show. But even when she's like, yeah, me and Mireille have never had any surgery done, right? And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
because
And the
everybody else
fact
did
that,
too.
yes. And the fact that she seeked out her the guy that bullied her in middle school,
Oh yeah, so
that
messed
called
up.
her an orc, and
Yeah,
like brought him to their little festival.
very messed up.
I was like, and you know what? I actually enjoy that episode because you saw the girls kind of really stand up and say, "No, we're not wearing this. Like the way you're treating us is
Oh,
disgusting."
right. Yeah, that whole
With the
yeah.
weird uniform.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I really like Will Young, because he's like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
no, and they bought those shirts, those
Right, yeah.
muscle shirts for the
They
guys
made him wear, yeah.
to. Yeah, so there is a lot of good things, but yeah, I do agree. It's one that if you know this going in, then you can just stick through it because the ending is quite good. It's very cute.
That's what I kept saying. I was like, the ending's very cute. I think that's
Yeah.
all I kept telling you. Is like, because the going back to the school thing, wearing the uniforms, him playing basketball so
Oh
she can
my
cheer. It's just
god.
cute. It's just, it really is just so cute. And that's why
No.
that's what I told you. I was like,
And mom approves too.
right. Oh, that was so funny. She's like, she gets off the chat, the video call, and she's like, that was Mir's boy. Like, guess who he's dating? That really handsome guy. And she's like, freaks out.
Yes. The parents were hilarious
Yeah, they really
in
were.
this drama.
Yeah.
I do want to. What I don't know if I missed it. What happened to Kyung-suk's dad? He dropped out of office, right? He didn't.
He I don't know
But the
the
parents
political
didn't get
terms and
together of it.
no, yeah, I don't know the
He
political
resigned, I
terms in
think.
Korea. Yeah, I think they might have forced him out.
Oh, because
Because
they
he
found out.
right, yeah. Because his whole platform was like what's the word? Like um frugality. Like he's like frugal, and then like, oh, his daughter, he bought his daughter this really expensive,
Luxurious item.
purse and all this stuff. Yeah, it's like this, and then just like scandals come out, and then I think that led to him just getting out of office. But then I think to salvage everything, he tried to go back to the mom one last time, and was pretty much, it was like really
Shut
interesting how he
down.
said it. He's like, I've only loved two people in my life, you when you were younger, and you now. And she's like, give me a break. Like,
He was like, you know what you did to me?
right. She's like, you took my
You
like
took the most important
important
thing.
my smell, like, geez. And he even started off that conversation with it would be too much to ask if we could all spend Kyung Suk's birthday together, right? And she was just gonna like, is that what you came here to ask me? And he's like, no. And then he goes into others, but it's just kind
He
of
definitely
like,
takes after his mother.
oh, for sure.
Yeah, she's
For
like,
sure.
no BS. No beating around the bush. This is
Right.
how I feel. I am strong and I am sticking with it. I loved her. I really loved her having her in the
Oh, she
series
was
as
great.
well.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was great. And it was cool to see that tie into Mude, how she saved her life as well.
Yes, yeah, really important. So we do recommend it if you're looking for like a new drama to watch on Netflix. Give it a watch. And now that you know some of the spoilers,
Ah,
all the spoilers.
whoops. Hey,
Whoopsie.
you stuck around. We told you.
Yeah, we told you at the beginning. So,
It's a fun watch.
give it a watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I started my next one, which I told you about already, Warren. It's the Hotel Del Luna
Hotel, yeah.
with IU. It's really, I mean, I was on episode 2 and I cried already. I'm like, oh no.
Dang.
It's a hotel about ghosts. I didn't think I was gonna be crying.
That's why I was like, I'm not watching it. It's got ghosts in it. Nope.
Yeah, I
I don't
started
see.
telling you about it, and I was like, oh wait, hold on,
I
don't
was like,
watch it.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So,
That's fun.
have you watched Business Proposal?
I've watched part of Business
You should finish it.
Proposal. No, I haven't finished it yet.
So cute.
Yeah.
Crash Landing
Dang
on
it.
You.
I've seen that one.
Okay.
I've seen Crash Landing on You.
One of the best.
Oh gosh, we talked about this before. I watched the one where I started watching the one where she's like a dentist who gets fired and has to go back
Hometown
to
Cha Cha Cha.
Yes, I started watching that one. I like that one so far.
That one's really cute as well.
Okay.
I think I'm one episode in, but then Hotel Del Luna is taking
President.
it's good. It's real
Well, we
good.
can let each other know how good they are.
Yeah, we can discuss it on the next episode.
On the next one.
Yeah, you guys, thanks for tuning in to a super long discussion on all things K-pop and K-drama.
If you're still here, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the discussion right here on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can just slide over to that 5-star rating and just go. We'll appreciate that. And Yeah, and we will keep you guys updated on our next episode on whether we got to see Stray Kids in
Oh,
concert or not.
stressing out.
I know.
Hopefully, next episode will include maybe on YouTube
Footage.
some footage of us at the concert. Hopefully,
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. I really hope so. And with that, if you want to keep up with us, you can just follow us on Instagram, which is right over there, K-pop Besties Pod on Instagram, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
take care.